Welcome everybody back to Completed It, and we said we're going to do it. We are finally here to do another marvelous Monday. I'm your host Andy Burrows, and as you can see, I'm joined by my two illustrious co-hosts. Down the bottom there, we have Yoda himself, the guru of Completed It podcast. Neil, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. And you?
I am good. I'm good. I'm glad we're going to get to do another marvelous Monday, my man.
Hmm.
In the top left, as always, there he is. Sash, how are you, brother?
I'm all good, man. All good.
Yeah, all good. Living the
Yeah.
dream.
No, I ain't completed shit.
Oh, all right. Okay.
You're living the dream, just not yours.
Just someone else's dream. Well, we're all doing that. As mentioned in our previous episode, we are now proud supporters of myherouk.co.uk. Go and check them out. They are a one-stop shop. It's easy for me to say for all your comic book needs. If you're buying, with your selling, with your trading, etc., etc. If you love comic books, go and check out myherouk.co.uk. And if you can't remember any of that, there's a video at the end of this. Just check that out. Go and check them out. They're great guys. If you love comic books, you're going to love that. Boys, we are here to talk all things Marvel. We have made it up to 2018. Ant Man and Wasp. Sash, I know you like me to mention this. So the budget for this movie, $330 million, boys, was the budget for the Ant Man and
Wow,
Wasp movie. Yeah.
a lot
It
bigger than
made,
I expected.
it made, how much do you think it made worldwide, Neil?
I think at that point in time, I'm gonna go with about six
Ooh,
hundred
you
million.
are close, my friend. 622.7 million
Mm-hmm.
worldwide. Now, this was a film, boys. So this was obviously, we knew Captain Marvel was coming.
Hmm.
And then we knew, did we know Endgame was coming at this point? We did, didn't
Yeah.
we? Yeah, we knew. So we were in the final furlong to what was the end
Hmm.
of this phase of Marvel. This was
Yeah.
phase four,
Three.
three. This is going to be the end of 3C. This is going to be the close, and then we didn't have a clue what was going to be going on after Endgame.
Hmm.
But I really liked this movie purely because it picked up pretty much for Scott's story after Civil War. He was under house arrest. He wasn't allowed to leave. He was like, he was, he had kind of got his daughter back in his life, etc., etc. This was such a feel good movie. I mean, a lot of people, I've watched it because when we do these, I watched a few reviews and I'd see what other people thought about the movie. And they're like, do you know what? Yeah, it was a good fill-in movie for what was to come. Neil, what did you view when you saw this movie? Obviously, again, Michael Douglas coming back to play Hank.
Hmm.
It was directed by Peyton Reed,
Yep.
really good director, done some great things over the years. I thought this is more than a fill-in movie. I think what a lot of people thought they were coming into this movie because we had had the post credits of Infinity Wars
Yeah.
with the snap. Everyone's like, well, I've got to watch this movie because I want to see what the end. It was kind of like, I'm going to watch this movie, but I really
Mhm.
want to get to the end credits like ASAP so I can see what happened. We're going to get to what happened at the end credits in a minute. But what did you think of this movie? I thought it was a really good, feel-good movie. They
Mhm.
told the story of obviously the quantum realm. With
Mhm.
Scott going back into the quantum realm, he wanted to find Hank's wife, played by the amazing Michelle Pfeiffer. And again, you've got Michelle Pfeiffer, you've got Michael Douglas in Marvel. If I had
Mhm.
gone back, me and you were talking, and Sash were talking before we hit record about 80s and 90s movies. If you had gone back and said in the 80s and 90s, oh, by the way, Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, they're going to appear in a Marvel film, you'd have been like, no way, not a chance. But
Mhm.
Michelle Pfeiffer's done some great action comic book films.
Yes.
She's done
Yes.
incredible stuff. But I thought this was more than a fill-in movie. It set up a lot of stuff moving forward for like the quantum realm, and we know that you could get into the quantum realm. And it turns out that Scott does go in there. He does find Hank's wife. They do get her out. It's full of comedy. It's full of little snippets of that's what they setting up there. I
Mhm.
think with this movie, they didn't want to give away too much, knowing that Captain Marvel was coming. But again, we're going to get to that next week. And again, that was
Yeah.
just a great standalone movie without setting things up, without not really, because we knew these characters were coming. We knew
Mhm.
Captain Marvel had to turn up before Endgame. We'd wondered where the hell she'd been. She kind of explains it in the start of Captain Marvel.
Mhm.
But Ant Man and Wasp, my friend, what did you think?
Yeah. You know what? I think at the time I just thought it was a nice palate cleanser
Hmm.
because you think, I mean, the reality is when if you didn't know, nothing could have prepared you for the end of Infinity War.
No, no, no.
If you did, if you weren't, you know, aware prior to sitting down to watch it, nothing prepared you for that. And
Mhm.
to see that, it would have been very heavy to go from that to try and go straight into Endgame. So
They
I
split
think
out
it
well,
was,
these two movies.
yeah. And it was, I think Ant Man and Wasp was a good palate cleanser. And also, I think, again, if you were unaware, if you weren't in the know and you weren't like, oh, I've read comic books, so I know what's going on, kind of thing like that, then it did become a thing where you were like, I don't know what this means in comparison to what that means. It was like, oh, here the snaps happened,
Hmm.
and you've got this whole kind of really just kind of like upbeat, calm, relaxed, or not calm, relaxed, but an upbeat kind of comedy, more comedy-esque Marvel movie.
Mm. Did you wonder where this movie was going to be set just before you carry on? Because obviously the snap has
Uh
happened. The last thing we saw
yeah,
was half our beloved characters
just
disappearing.
disappearing.
And then you're like, oh, hang on a minute, Ant-Man and Wasp next. Are they gonna tell me straight away? Is it gonna be like,
I
a lot of people
thought
went into this movie thinking we're
it was
gonna
after the
find out
snap.
what happens after the snap. Yeah,
I thought the post credit would be after the snap, which I
got
mean
you.
technically it was,
Kind of is, yeah.
but
Yeah, it is.
I thought that it was going to be like, okay, this movie will take place either. I knew. Oh, I knew. I was very much in suspicion that this movie is going to take place before the snap because I thought there's no point in making a movie about one character
Mm-hmm.
after the snap when you
Yep.
haven't addressed all the other characters who were left after, you know, after the snap. So I was like, no, this is probably going to be beforehand.
Mm, yeah, no, I mean, I thought this was such
Hmm.
a feel good movie. It explained a hell of a lot. Sash, what did you make of the movie? I know you weren't around when we done the first Ant-Man review, myself and Neil. I know
Hmm.
you really loved that movie, and I know you like you said, me and you were chatting a few weeks ago, just when you got back from Australia, saying like you went into this with no expectations, and it's one of
Hmm.
your favorite Marvel movies of all time. So let's fast forward to Ant-Man and Wasp 2018. Like you say, me and the last thing we had seen was
Yeah.
Infinity Wars. So you're walking into the cinema thinking, how the fuck? This has got to be before Infinity Wars. This can't, there's no way this can be after Infinity Wars because how the fuck are you going to do this? And then you're giving us Captain Marvel, then you're giving us Endgame. What did you think? What did you think before going into the cinema to see this film? What did you think after it?
So first off, let me just do a correction. Just check the budget because that didn't make sense. But the budget
It's
you
only what
mentioned,
Google told me, bro. It's only
yeah,
what
the
IMDb told
budget,
me.
yeah, yeah. I just looked it up. The budget you mentioned was actually for Quantumania.
Oh, the one on IMDb says Ant-Man and Wasp. I got it in front of me. Ant-Man and Wasp budget 330 mil.
Is that Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania or this one?
No,
Because the
Ant-Man and
IMDb
Wasp.
I got in front of me is 162 million.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It made a
but
lot of
yeah,
money.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, because I was like, hang on, that doesn't make sense because
Hmm.
it definitely doesn't look like it cost
It
that
don't look.
much.
That's why I thought I
Yeah,
was like, nah,
yeah.
that's a lot.
And
That's a
this
lot
is
more than I
before they
thought.
started spending crazy money as
Mm.
well,
There's a
because
lot of
especially with
movies that
this
don't
one,
look
yeah.
like they had a big budget.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, don't get me
Um,
started on Jurassic Park again, boys. I can't do it for
yeah,
another
so
episode.
yeah, anyway, yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Mm.
What did I think? I did enjoy it a lot, immensely, to be quite honest. It was more of the same. It was fun. Um, they didn't have Adam McKay back as part of the writing people, but they've got Paul Rudd to write some of the screenplay.
Hmm.
And, they took what worked in the first movie and just times that up, you know.
Mm.
More jokes, more laughter, more of Michael Pena do this
Suppose we
shit.
needed this after Infinity War, didn't we? We needed to laugh
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
after
yeah,
Infinity War,
totally.
everyone was like, "Oh shit."
Plus, it helped that it had some cool trailers at the start.
Hmm.
So the trailers were pretty strong for this movie. Um, so yeah, no, really, really, really enjoyed it.
Mm, yeah.
Mm.
Did I enjoy it more than the first? No, I didn't. I think I enjoyed it about just the same, if that
Mhm.
makes
Because you
sense.
loved the first one, didn't you?
Mm.
Well, you got to understand in context. I love the first one because I thought it was going to be shit. You got to understand that there was so much stacked against it because the first time I heard they were making an Ant Man movie, they said Michael Douglas is Hank Pym. If you read the comics, Hank Pym is a lot younger than Michael Douglas,
Hmm.
or at least the comics I've read growing up in the 80s and the 90s,
Mhm.
So when I'm hearing like fucking Michael Douglas falling down, I'm like, huh? Makes no
Yeah.
sense, but all right. But
Mhm.
then I didn't know who Scott Lang was.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I had no clue who Scott Lang was.
Okay.
You had Edgar Wright directing originally, and Edgar Wright bailed the project because he didn't know who Scott Lang was. And, by the time he was ready to do the film, because he had other prior commitments like The World's End and other films, Marvel had moved on past
Mhm.
phase one. They were gearing up towards phase three, and they needed their Ant Man soon. You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
whenever Ant Man one fit. So, they needed to go full steams ahead. They hired Peyton Reed, and magic happened. And they kept that with this one. What I
Mhm.
do like about the first film was that they kept those Edgar Wright isms, like the Thomas the Tank thing, and stuff like that. And also, like Edgar Wright more or less created how he shrinks and some of the fighting and all of that kind of stuff in a little short that he did way back during phase one.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
they kept that little gimmick throughout the movies, all the Ant-Man movies, and it works fine, man. It looks
Mhm.
good. Um, and it carries out in this film. This film specifically, I enjoyed Lawrence Fishburne being in it. I love they showed us Giant Man
Mhm.
a bit more because obviously we got a glimpse of him in Civil
Ooh.
War. You got Walter Goggins, who's always fantastic in everything he fucking does. Um, what's it? Um, how do you pronounce the name? Avalanche
Oh,
Lily?
dude.
Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah,
Do you know how many times I've tried to try being a
she's got.
dyslexic
Yeah, she
podcast
had.
host? It ain't easy, guys.
She had a lot to do. She had a lot
Yep,
to
she had
do
way
this
more to
time
do this
out.
time.
Hence why she's got like billing
She's
Mm.
had
people
some
with
great roles, by
Ant-Man.
the way.
Mhm.
Michelle Pfeiffer was a great addition to the cast. I know there was rumors that it might be Catherine Zeta-Jones, but clearly, they casted it properly
This
rather than
ain't bring your wife to work day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it
Mhm.
works, man.
Do you think you had to Neil? I know you're obviously, and Sash, you're a huge comic book reader as well.
Mhm.
Do you think going into this movie there was a lot, and especially maybe the original Ant-Man, but obviously
Mhm.
this movie they brought in things like the quantum realm more and more.
Yeah.
Do you think you had to be a comic book reader to really get this movie? Because I think when you go into the realms of quantum realms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I spoke to a couple of friends that are like, oh, I like the movie, but I didn't really understand some of the things that were going on in it, like quantum realms and things like
Uh,
that. And I'm like,
um,
well, if you read the comics, they're in there. I mean, I wasn't a massive reader of all the comics, but
mhm.
I'm a geek, so I knew
Yeah.
of everything in there. Do you have to be a comic book reader to get this movie? Would you say or not?
No, I don't believe so at all. I think, we're talking about 2018, and we're talking about 2018 like we forget that in the year 2000, the number one thing on the zeitgeist of this planet was the Matrix.
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
We live in a world now where hearing about different worlds, different realms, that
Hmm.
kind of idea is not a foreign language to us.
I just think
So,
more from the Marvel point of view. It
I
was one
mean,
of
and yes,
them.
but even from the Marvel point of view, it's, we're talking about there's so many different references, like pop culture references and things scattered through Marvel. We're talking about in Civil War, Peter Parker, and he's like, "Have you seen that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?" And in Infinity War, he's like, "Have you seen that really old movie, Aliens?" It's we live in a world where
I think Peter Parker's just trying to make us feel old.
yeah, but we live in a world where history has become pop culture. So really and truly, no, I don't think you have to be a comic book fan to be like, oh, that's the quantum realm, and this is this, and get it. I think you
But
could
they
just
done it right though,
sci-fi
didn't
it.
they? I thought in
Yeah,
this movie it was true. Like we talk all the time about you can't put everything from a comic book into a movie.
yeah.
Knowing what I know about the comic book side of Ant-Man and
Hmm.
etc. etc., I thought they'd done it really well because
It is.
explaining the quantum realm is not easy.
No.
And they will don't when we get to Quantumania.
Mm.
in my opinion, they completely fucked it up when they got that far along. I really did not like that movie, but we're gonna get to it. But
Mm.
explaining like the quantum realm and etc. etc. I mean, even for Marvel, that might have been a step too far, but I don't think it was. I thought they'd done it
No.
really well because obviously we had the first movie where we knew what had happened to Michelle Pfeiffer's character died.
Janet Van Dyne.
That's it. We knew what happened to her character, but we like,
Mm.
oh, what the fuck's now? And then when this movie kicked off, and you slowly in your mind unraveled it, you're like, oh shit, Hank wants to actually bring back his wife, and then you
Mm.
realize, fuck, they're gonna bring back his wife. And I thought delving into the quantum
Mhm.
realm visually, I thought
Yeah.
was incredible. I thought they'd done that so well. Even rewatching it now, and I was only
Mm.
rewatching it on my TV. I
Mhm.
remember watching that in the cinema, thinking, wow, this is good.
Mm.
This is really good. I really did enjoy it. Boys, let's get then to the whole reason why everyone really went to the cinema. The post-credit scenes were
Mm.
Scott Lang. He got caught
Yeah.
in the quantum realm
Mhm.
because the snap happened, and you see Hank and his wife and his daughter all disappear.
Mhm.
And that did they tie it in well enough to what we knew for the end of Infinity? Because we all, like I said at the start of the show, we all went into this movie thinking, they got to tell me something post snap,
Mm.
and they did. They left Scott in the quantum realm,
See,
and that's
I,
pretty much how it finished.
see,
Did
I don't think that when I watch these films.
I'm
Yeah,
retrospectively now,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
easy
Thinking
with
about
me.
it in hindsight.
But I
Yeah,
remember going into this movie thinking, I've just seen Infinity War, whatever, how long ago it was. I'm like, you got
yeah.
to tell me something. You got to tell me something. You can't have me
I
in this movie and not tell me a damn thing.
I kind of feel like I agree with Sash on this one, but I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
With this, I think we're leaving out one very key detail. There wasn't a person who watched Infinity War who didn't know that Endgame was coming a year
True.
later.
Yeah, very true.
So I feel like
You knew they were coming back. You just didn't know how.
you knew, well, not even say you knew that they were coming back. I mean, comic book fans, we knew they
Hmm.
were coming back. But I mean, you knew there was another film coming. I mean, you gotta remember when they first initially announced Infinity War, it was announced as Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. It wasn't Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, true.
So it was a thing of we all knew. We were very fairly aware that, and I'm like, again, it was a thing of if you didn't know when you left that cinema screen, you knew by the time you got to your car or by the time you got to the train or the bus because the people around you who had also just seen the film were talking, and them comic book nerds were like, "Oh, I can't wait for next year when the next film comes out." So we were in that position where we all knew, and I think it was just like at that moment, this was like the best way I could describe it. This is like the red wedding of Game of Thrones, where everybody who'd seen it was like, I need to see what happens next. Even if what happens next had fuck all to do with what I just saw, I need to see what happens next so I'm prepared for when they address it. And I think
Hmm.
that's what happened with Ant Man. It was everybody went to watch it because they were like, hopefully they address Infinity War. But if they don't, it's tantalizing. It's more like
I
I
don't know.
can't wait until I know.
I would have been fuming. They had to tell you something.
But
Imagine
don't
leaving that
forget, it's
cinema. How
it's
would you have done the end credit scene? Like, would end not done anything and go. That maybe would have been a good way. Leave it like to go to your idea, Neil.
Mhm,
Excuse me. Just leave it. Just finish the movie and everyone go. Because then you knew that Captain Marvel was coming,
mhm.
and then you're like, well, they got to tell me something then. Yeah, you
Because that's
can't
the
have
thing. They could have realistically they could
left
have
it till Endgame.
the end credits could have just been another tease of Captain Marvel.
Hmm?
It could have just been another tease of Captain Marvel. It could there was you didn't have to. It was beneficial and highly profitable to
And a
make
moose
the end of
boosh.
it to make it the end of it a continuation. But it's like we have to remember that everything we saw from I'm gonna say what like Guardians Volume 2, everything we saw was just literally another link in the chain towards Endgame.
Yeah,
It
because
wasn't
Endgame was announced pretty early on at the. Was Endgame announced at the San Diego Comic Con?
Yeah.
no.
Oh no.
I thought it
So,
was.
well, when they announced it as End Game,
Mm.
yes, but when they announced it as a movie, no,
Hmm.
it was just this was just when they announced all of Phase 3, which was
Gotcha.
just in a on a random Tuesday in some theater in Los Angeles, and it wasn't D23 and it wasn't San Diego Comic Con. It was just like, hey, by the way, you lucky folks are gonna find out everything that's happening with
Yeah,
Marvel
by the
for
way,
the
the
next
biggest
like
movie we've ever made is going to drop in a couple of years.
yeah, they were just like pulling it out because that's when they announced that when they said that Captain America was going to be the Serpent Society, and then actually no, it's not. It's going to be Civil War, and then that's when they
Hmm.
started pumping you with information about all of these things.
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember. Yeah, no, I thought it was San Diego Comic Con.
Mhm.
Stacks, what did you make of the end of the movie, bro? Like with the snap, did they do it right? Did we delve too much into it? I'm glad they told us something because, and then I would have rather have gone into Captain Marvel and not found anything because I'd have been like, I'm good with it. I'm
Mhm.
good. But then the end of which we're going to get to next week, the end of Captain Marvel, I thought was
Mhm.
perfect. The post credit scene there was absolutely perfect. I thought. But yeah, I don't know. What did you reckon to the end of Ant Man and Wasp?
Yeah, I liked it. It was fine. It was fine.
No. Any
Wasn't
thoughts?
it didn't blow me. It didn't blow me away.
Mhm.
No, are you
I
glad they
thought,
told us? Are you glad they
yeah,
told us something?
yeah, sure.
Well, think that tiny
Yeah,
little thing, that
yeah,
tiny little thing that they showed us at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp has such big ramifications. That
yeah.
tiny thing of, oh, he's stuck in the quantum realm, and the truck that he had has now been impounded and locked away in a police impound locker.
Hmm.
But the wider aspect of it is he comes back.
Mm,
And then he comes back, and then that's what sets the whole thing on the road when he's like, look, I'm back. And it was like, oh yeah, it was 5 years for everybody. This was like 5 hours for me.
mm,
And I was like, oh, we're onto something here.
yeah. Because you were
So
all the thing is because you were already anticipating Captain Marvel because the way Infinity War ended with Nick Fury
yeah.
leaving the symbol, don't you? So you kind of
Mhm.
knew. So this you're kind of like, well, I already know what's happening with. I know Nick Fury's already summoned Captain
Yeah.
Marvel. I already know that he's like fucking put out the call for help. What I don't know is how where she's been, what's her backstory, etc.,
Mhm.
etc. Again, we're gonna get to it next week. I fucking loved the Captain Marvel film, and a lot of people were on the fence. It's gonna be interesting to see what you boys think next week. But
Mhm.
yeah, I really enjoyed Ant Man and Wasp. I really enjoyed the way they ended it. I'm glad they told me something. It
Mhm.
was better than say I don't know the Captain America movie that we got this year, where Red Hulk and
Yeah.
when you say, I hate using this word filler movie because I don't think Marvel ever do a filler movie per se. It's Marvel for fuck's sake. This ain't some like 10 minute short they're chucking on Disney.
Yeah.
There's multi-million pound
Mhm.
dollar operation here. This I get the word filler movie. I just don't
Mhm.
like it per se.
Yeah, I think
Black Widow.
you got a good point where you're like it's a movie. There is no quote unquote filler movie, but I think
Ash hates Black Widow.
there are movies that are designed to be a complete spectacle, and there are some movies that are designed to be half a spectacle and half push along information that is going to become relevant later on.
Yeah, no, coughing on Black Widow there.
Mm.
I actually like Black Widow.
I mean, look, Black Widow is a prime example. Really and truly, that movie was made,
Could have made a TV series
essentially,
out of it.
it was made to be a spectacle
Hmm.
because what did we know about it? Well, we know it's a movie that's set between these 2 points, technically a prequel, and you know my thoughts about prequels. So it was designed to set up I mean, it wasn't really designed to set up anything other than Taskmaster and Yelena.
Hmm.
And
Which helped for later on in like Thunderbolts
yeah,
and
which
etc.
helped
etc. And
it helped for Hawkeye's TV show, and then it
hmm.
helped for Thunderbolts, and it helped to introduce a character.
It's the only thing
But
that pisses me off about Marvel. I wish they'd done Hawkeye season 2.
well, I mean,
Never
look,
say never. Never say never.
yeah, we'll never say never.
No, never say.
But
I really
I
enjoyed it.
hear what Mr.
Rayner.
P. Barton,
Yeah.
what Jeremy Renner has
He
had to
wants
say
some money.
about things.
He wants Robert Downey Jr. money to be doing them again. He don't want to be. But they offered him season 2, And the interview, I think I'll try and find you the link. It's on
Yeah, I
YouTube. He
think
was
he said
like,
they
he's like,
offered him
you ain't,
half.
it's like you ain't offering me season one money.
No, they offered him
And
less than
like,
season one money,
yeah,
which
it
is
was
why he was so
terrible.
pissed off.
Yeah.
To be honest, I say is a very, very, very valid point. It is like if
Mm,
you're not even offering the same,
you've
you're
offered me
offering less
less.
than you offered before, and I'm
Yeah.
like, the whole reason you got into this kerfuffle when you got to Avengers Age of Ultron and people being pissed off about their pay, you're telling me that's not a lesson you learned?
Mm,
You didn't learn that lesson at on Avengers 2, and now here we are all these years later after Avengers 4,
mm.
and you're like, we're gonna offer you this. No.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it, boys.
Yeah.
I spoke to a lot of people that listen to the show, watch the show. They want
Mm-hmm.
us to carry on with Marvelous Monday. So I think once we get to Endgame, we're gonna keep going, boys. I think we've got a few Spider-Mans. We will get to Black Widow just to piss Sash off, and just because I want to hear him rant for half an hour. I might just hit record, do the intro, and then say, "Here, Sash, tell us why you think this movie's shit," and let him go because
Mm,
pretty much what that episode's going to be. But boys, enjoy doing another Marvelous Monday with you lads. Anyone
happy
that
to.
wants to check out our content, go onto YouTube. Type in Completed It Podcast. You will see that logo behind me pop up. We're changing a few things. I've got a new banner coming. You may have noticed a new intro to the show.
Hmm.
Neil, you're on the intro, bro, now. You're here. You've made it.
I'm here.
Made it, bro. You've made it onto the intro. You know you're part of the team now. But yeah, anyone who wants to check us out, just go onto YouTube, type in Completed It Podcast. You can go onto Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Completed It Pod. You can find us on Instagram, Completed It Podcast. Type that in. You can find us on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook anymore, but I'm still running the Completed It Podcast
Hmm.
channel, which is all good. But that's where you can find all our content. We've got some really good things planned for 2026. We are going to wrap up the next two Marvelous Mondays, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So we have got Captain Marvel and then Endgame. I can't wait to talk
Hmm.
about them two. That is, for me, a lot of people preferred Infinity Wars to Endgame. I'm going to try and get Jonathan on because I know he loved
Hmm.
Endgame. He really
Yep,
preferred Endgame.
I'm in that boat.
Yeah, I loved Infinity Wars. I'm not gonna lie. Endgame had me for like half an hour. They done something that I thought was brilliant, and the rest of it I can take or leave because I thought it was a bit, even for Marvel, was a bit stupid. But we'll get to it in the coming weeks. Sash, thank you very much, brother. Look forward to seeing you again. Neil,
Hmm.
awesome as always. But we'll be back within the next couple of days with more Completed It podcast. Till then, everybody, stay safe.
There's never been a better time to join My Hero UK. It's now sponsored by the amazing Completed It podcast, Jake's Corner of the Internet, and the comic book shop Untold Comics. You'll keep 100% of what you sell. And for the whole of January, the buyer protection fee is a whopping 50p. It's cheaper than eBay. It's cheaper than Vintage. But that's not all. There's a built-in tool to help you store your collection so you never make a duplicate purchase. The app is massively underrated, so show it some love. And follow My Hero UK.